Hello everyone. Today I'm going to present demo and code walkthrough on the adaptive card extensions which I have recently submitted to the SPFx adaptive card extensions GitHub repo. Little bit about myself. I am Siddharth Bagas. So I'm a Microsoft MVP and I'm an active PNP contributor and proudly showcasing all the badges which David has talked about various greatly badges which we get while we are contributing to all the PNP repos and everything. These are some of the social handles through which you should be able to connect with me. So today I'm going to talk about an S component to basically show multiple cards and items from the SharePoint list and at a time based on a dates. This is the repo to the sample from which you would be able to download the repo and also make changes if you like, or you can just let it use it as it by just building it. Let's first see a summary of the this particular adaptive card extension sample. So it basically is a single component here where we would be able to show various cards and items from the SharePoint list at a time, and that would be based on the date. So that is why I call this as a dynamic announcement, wherein as a practical use case, what we can do is we can use this particular adaptive card extension solution to display different kinds of announcements in our Viva Connection dashboard, right? The good thing about this sample is that generally when we create an adaptive card extension, we would have one card view and we could have multiple quick views, right? But generally, if you want to make any change to the quick view or any changes to the card view, we would have to probably based on where the template is being stored, we would have to probably change the code and redeploy it, right? So here it is kind of a reusable adaptive card extension wherein a single component would be able to render different formats of adaptive card extension, and that which is being configurable in a SharePoint list. So we will see that how that will work in a while. And then there is an option in the card view whether we can choose whether we wanted to open an external link or we wanted to open a quick view on the click of the card view, or we don't want to do any such action. We just wanted to have a plain and simple card view to be displayed on the dashboard, right? Some of the examples which I think this can be useful is to basically show the communications or the news and articles which we can get it from the external systems or external APIs from the same way we can implement RSS feed to be displayed and update into SharePoint list. Any other important updates, a quote of the day, tip of the day, or any other announcement which we think we would like to give to all the users within our organization in our Viva Connection dashboard itself. Now, these are some of the other features which these adaptive card extensions provide. Is basically, allows us to create the list from the configuration panel. So it means that you don't have to pre-create the list from manually from the SharePoint, but you can use this adaptive card extension and just click on the button and it will automatically create the required schema or required list to be used for this. There is an option to enable auto-rotate the card for every 4 seconds, so that it is configurable in the web part property in the card properties itself. Then there is previous and next button to navigate between different items, and we can also basically use the same card on the multiple times on the dashboard, pointing to different lists, because the list from where to get the data is configurable in the web part properties itself. So without much ado, let's quickly see the demo. So this is my dashboard, okay, and you can see many adaptive card extension, but we are mostly focusing on this particular component. So right now, if you see, it is showing one card view, which is PNP landing page, a single URL to find them all. So once you click on it, it will take us to the home page where you will be able to find all the links to the PNP. On click of next, it is showing a different sample, which is basically a restaurant sample, and you click on it and you see a different kind of quick view. So the first card view which we have seen was a sample to link to the external system. This one is where we are displaying a quick view, and this is one of the example from the adaptive card designer IO, from where it shows how we can different kinds of adaptive card can be displayed. Next, it's an image gallery sample. This is again from the designer adaptive card designer samples only, where we can display some of the images within the adaptive card. So now you can see that though there is a single card view, But on each card view which we display, there are different formats in which we can display quick views also, right? So every quick view can have its own format, and we will see how that is working. And this is another sample of FAQ, which is basically available in the adaptive card sample to display the FAQ questions and answers from there, right? First, let's also see the properties which are available. So you can configure obviously the card title, which is displayed like dynamic as, then the card icon and the list name from where we wanted to get the data from. And this button will basically create a list if at all you wanted to create a new list and use this card in the same dashboard, but you wanted to add this multiple times. And then there is a auto rotate on and off property, which will basically kind of auto rotate a particular card every 4 seconds. So this was the sample. Now let's see the schema of the list. Okay, so this is basically the list from where all the 3 cards which we have seen right now were coming. So first column which we have is the card view title and the description, which will basically control what we are displaying on the card view title and the description. Then there is start date and end date. As I said, it is more like an announcement. So this is a feature wherein you can have a single list, but you can control what you wanted to display on that particular dashboard, or what all items you wanted to get based on the start date and end date. So it means it's like an expiry of a particular announcement or expiry of a particular card. So if the current today's date will fall between the start date and end date, then only it will display here, otherwise it won't. So we are just filtering based on the start date and end date. So right now, if you've seen, it was displaying these 4 samples, the FAQ, image gallery, and the test one. Then there is a column for on card selection type. So this will tell the code logic, what to do when a particular card is selected. So if it is a quick view, it will basically go and refer these 2 columns, which I'll be talking about in few seconds. But if it is just an external link, what it will do is it will try to find from in which link you wanted to redirect to. So this is where the links to an external link would work whenever a card is being clicked. Now, if it is a quick view, then what we have to do is we have to basically define the schema and the data here. Now, so this is something which we have to understand. Generally, when we create an adaptive card extension, what we do is we define our adaptive card schema within our code base itself, within a template folder somewhere. And then what we do is we have our data method, which we basically kind of pass the dynamic data to that adaptive card schema. And then the rendering of the adaptive card takes place by the SPFx framework itself, right? So this is where, rather than getting that adaptive card schema from the code solution or from the template folder, what we are doing is we are allowing user to make it configurable in the SharePoint list itself. So here you can define all the schema which you have, and the data column would be where you have to basically create your data, which basically will combine with the adaptive card extension, right? Now, one question we would have in our mind is like, how we are going to update this data column, right? So in a way, if you think about this, basically because this is an announcement kind of thing, behind the scenes, probably you might have a Power Automate, or you might have other automation which would have been running behind the scene, which will take care of updating this column. So like if, for example, consider an RSS feed which we wanted to display onto the adaptive card here, and which probably can be on the daily basis, a Power Automate would be kind of running daily or on a scheduled time. And what it will do is it will read the RSS feed, and what it will do is it will automatically, not automatically, but basically based on our logic, it has to create a specific JSON format in which the schema would require, right? So that is how both of this would combine, and then it will the SPFx framework would take care of displaying that data in the quick view itself. So now let's just quickly see, how we can probably create a new entry here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this adaptive card template repo, wherein there is an adaptive card sample which basically displays the event schedules and registration. Okay, and within this, if you think about this, there are two two JSON files. One is the template file, and the data file which is there, right? So let me do one thing. Let me create one one sample here. So let me call this just new item, because title column we are not using. Event MS Ignite 2021. So agenda, and I'll say on card selection I wanted to open the quick view, right? So that's why we don't want to put any external link here. And let's now put the adaptive card JSON in the data here. So as this is just an sample, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the schema from here, which is readily available for the event schedule in the JSON column. And we also have the sample data which is uploaded here as a part of this sample. So I'm going to just copy this and I'm going to put it in the data column. I'll choose the start date which is earlier than today, and end date which is later than today, and I'll just save it here. Let's just refresh the dashboard now, and if you see, the new item has been created here and it is getting displayed, MS Ignite 2021. Click here to show agenda, and if you click on it, it is showing exactly the way the sample was showing in the repo itself in the quick view, with all the functionality as it is. Now, one thing to note here is, because this is an adaptive card announcement kind of thing, probably it will not support any update which we have to do. Like for example, this particular sample, what it does is it has a registration form also, and on click of submit, probably we might be submitting data to some of the API, or we might be storing this data into SharePoint. So that won't be supported, but it's more or less a read-only kind of scenario in which you can use this adaptive card. And this is how overall you would be able to do it. Now, in this particular case also, if you think about it, probably the agenda which we are displaying in terms of the data, we might be getting it from the API, or we might be getting it from the another system or within SharePoint somewhere itself. We just need to make sure that that particular piece of automation is going to go and update the data in a particular JSON format, where based on the schema which we have created. So this particular adaptive card extension is more or less targeted to developers like us, who can basically kind of use this kind of reusable adaptive card extension to be displayed somewhere and give a solution to the client, that wherein if they say that, okay, I need to quickly display some announcement or something, but it should be in this format, and depending on the type of the announcement or type of the message, we wanted to display different kind of card. So in this case, this would be this can be used. So let me quickly, that's it from the demo side. So let's quickly do the code walkthrough, how this particular piece is built. To start with, we have a typical adaptive card extension, project structure which we have. Then there is a property which basically which are the configurable properties to hold the values of the title, the list name, the icon, and the auto rotate true or false. Then we have state object, which will basically hold the data which we get from the SharePoint, the array of the items, the current index which is being displayed in the card view, then the current item which will hold the actual item within that particular selected card. And then there is a click view. Right now this is not been used. I was trying something else, but you can ignore this. Then there is on init method. So on init method, what we are doing is we are initializing an SP service provider class, which we'll be talking later. But overall, first thing to do is to get the SP list item by using that SP provider class. Then initialize all the states with the items which we got from the SharePoint list. And this is a fixture method, which basically it's kind of to help us to do the auto rotate. If I remember correctly, I got this reference from one of the session or demo which Patrick did on how to auto rotate the particular card based on a few seconds. So this is the same logic which I have kind of get it from the particular demo which was being done. Then we have only two cards. I mean the card view and the quick view. And the single quick view is basically made dynamic in a way to get the schema and the data from the SharePoint list. So there are no multiple quick views or anything. It's just single card view and single quick view here. Next, this is a method to create the list whenever a create list button would be clicked in the configuration window panel. And the properties in the get property parent configuration, we have the list name from which we have to read the data. Then there is a text, then there is a label to basically display the instruction text, and the button to basically on when the button is clicked, we have to call the method to create the SharePoint list. And then the property of auto rotate, whether we wanted to do auto rotate or not, or it has to be always manual. Right? Moving on to card view, first thing to understand here is the buttons. So depending on the current item index, we would have to either add one button or two buttons. So if the current index is greater than 0, then it means we know that there are more items to be displayed, so we'll display previous button also. But if it is a last item, if it is not the last item, then we have to display the next button. So this is the typical logic to basically enable, disable either whether it is a single button or multiple buttons on the card view. Next thing is on action. This is where whenever an action button from the card view is been clicked, so here what we are doing is we are just incrementing and decrementing the index and the current item object, change the current item object based on whether the previous or next button has been clicked. In the data method, as I said, the card view is basically getting data from the SharePoint list and from the current item. So what it will do is we are displaying the primary text which would be configured in the SharePoint list, and the description which would be configured in the SharePoint list based on the current item which is being displayed. Now, this is important. On card selection means what we need to do whenever a user clicks on the card, right? So depending on what is the current value set of the current item in the card, whether it is a quick view, we will return the quick view object. But if it is an external link, then we would return the object of the type external link, and also we will set the target parameter to the column value which is there in the external link URL. And if the card view selection doesn't have any action item, then what we are going to do is we are going to do nothing. So it means nothing would happen on click of that. Then coming to the quick view, so this is interesting. Generally in the quick view, what we would have is we would be either returning the making the API calls, getting data from somewhere based on the use cases or the scenario. So in this case, we know that we just have to get the data from a particular column in the SharePoint list item. So what we are doing is if it is if the current item is of the card selection type of the quick view, then we are passing the JSON object and we are reading the adaptive card data column, quick view adaptive card data column to pass data to the adaptive card schema. And same way for the template, rather than reading the template from the template folder, which would generally be in somewhere in the code structure, we are reading the schema from the adaptive card JSON column and again passing it and returning it, so that basically whenever SPFx framework would have to display the UI, it will combine the schema object with the data object to basically dynamically create the quick view and display it in the UI, right? Next is the SP provider class. So SP provider class, basically we are using PNP, but we are using the older version of PNP. When I started, I still worked on the older version, but yeah, this would be a right candidate to update to the new version of the PNP. So you can see that we are initializing the context object here, and then there is a get list item method wherein we are getting the item from the list based on the filter of the start date and end date. And then the other method which we have is the create list with column. Basically, this is the method which takes care of the creating the list with the required schema which we need for supporting all the logic behind the adaptive card extension. So this is how, and there is one more method, checklist, which is just to check whether the list already with the same name already exists or not. So if user tries to create again this list with the same name, we can just display an error message saying that list already exists. Right? So yeah, so this is it. This is it from my side. Hope this particular sample is useful for the community and can be used as it is in some of the use cases at least. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. And Patrick, over to you.
Great stuff there. Thank you so much, Siddharth.